Hello everybody, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Thomas. I hope you can see my screen at the moment. Today with me is my colleague Flavio, and as you saw from the topic, we're gonna talk about Holocore, a little bit more about calculations, and of course we're gonna see how we can optimize your production process. Let's see if Flavio can open his microphone so we can hear a little bit from him.
Hi, Thomas. Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited about this webinar because it's the first of its kind like this, the first of many, I think. Impact and pre-stress at the same time. And it just makes sense to have them together because they're so closely related. And
Exactly.
it's really nice to see them work like this.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm very excited because today is also the first webinar that we're going to show Impact 16, the new version of Impact, which was released a little bit before Christmas time. I know some of our customers, they have not installed it yet, but it's a good first look, looking at some functionality in the project manager today. As I said, you can see here our details. You can always contact me with impact inquiries, and of course, Flavio with pre-stress inquiries. The webinar is going to be uploaded in YouTube afterwards, so you can always come back to it and look at what we saw today. I've made a very, very small agenda here on what we're going to see today. Again, draw Holocore slabs in Impact 16, some calculations on the project manager. This is something very interesting to see how easy it is now to do Holocore calculation from PM. A pre-stress walkthrough with the calculations from Flavio, and we're going to see some of our new features in production planning, including element control. Of course, you can, during the webinar, on the bottom right side of your panel, you can write your questions, and when one of us is not presenting something, is going to try to answer the questions that they are raised. Of course, we're going to have some time in the end, so it's up to you. I hope the webinar doesn't last more than 50 minutes, but we will see. We take it as it goes. So I'll close my PowerPoint. I'll take you directly into Project Manager Impact 16. As you can see, some colors were changed, but you can see that the basic functionality and the basic modules are there. So you can see we have added this calculation module, which we are going to talk about today through the project manager. And what I'm going to do, as I always do, I'm going to go to my floor plans, right click and open my DVG drawings. Again, some of you have seen that. It's just a little XREF that I have where I can just directly draw my holocores. So, have my holocore module here. I will start, select by draw holocore. Again, select between different definitions that you have in your standard. Find the correct predefined strand pattern that you have set in your definition, and you can see many different possibilities here on that definition, and that's why I chose this one. Add your end caps, make your elevation correct, and of course lifts if you are using lift types or hangers or whatever you are using as custom materials. So first thing first, we're gonna draw a window of holocores. I'm gonna leave the design part as simple as possible so we don't lose a lot of time. 80 millimeters here, 0, 80 millimeters supporting length, none. You can see I have my cutting here, 870 millimeters. I'll select here, press enter, and then move my cutting slab to whichever place I want to be applied, and then say apply. So I have created full 3D holocore slabs, and for the purpose of this example, just to do something more, to be a little bit more, I'll just make those also down here. Again, the design is not the most important part. If you would like to see a webinar on how you can create your definition and add the strand patterns, you can always view some of our previous webinars. So I have my holocores designed, And the most easy way to fill my plan in that sense, I'm going to leave that part out. You can add it with some pre-stress slabs or some normal slabs or some double T's. And I will take this and I will mirror my holocores according to my plan. And I'll select mid between 2 points. So I'm the mid of my plan. And of course, not remove the originals. So I have added the holocores. I have filled my plan, or at least the space of the plan that I want to do. And you can see that I have some small little recesses, which I will add as we go. I will say draw recess. I will say none because I don't want to add an element at the moment, but afterwards I'll say slab, and I will draw all my rectangular recesses. So in that sense, I'll start from here and add this one. I'll go from here and add this one. These two are going to have a one in the middle. Press enter. And again, I'm going to do the same for the circular one. Say okay. Enter. And for this big one, I'm going to draw a hanger detail. So for people who have not worked with impact before, they know that there is the possibility to draw hanger detail also automatically into your impact. Select the hanger that you want, and the slab is, as you can see, the slab is cut automatically and the hanger is added. You can see my slabs are green while the openings are not added to the definition. So the best thing I can do here is select my definitions, go to my holocores, add, and pretty simple exit. So now I have a cutout here and a cutout here. Pretty much the same as the design that we were used to. I will select my holocores and save them. So the workflow until further notice is exactly as we used to have. The naming comes automatically. I know some of you are using the same element mark for the same type of holocore and the same size of holocore, and some of you are using new element marks for every holocore. There is no problem. Everything can be handled through the software in that case. What I'm going to do is go directly back to my project manager. You will see that before we had the refresh button here, but now we have the update model and the reload model. Update model updates only the things that they have been changed. So we save memory. Big projects are not taking a lot of time to reload with 5,000, 10,000 elements. And of course, you see the holocores that we just designed being viewed into the project manager. Yes, but what is different is the calculation module. And I can select my floor, my first floor, and say right click, open in calculation view, and see that I have building 1, floor 1, and all of the holocores assigned to this floor. Now I have to, of course, open my calculation module if I have the corresponding license of Prestress in Project Manager, and go to my calculation. And very, very easy. It is extremely, extremely easy, and that's what I'm trying to show you through Impact, that we can do our settings, which can be, of course, some exposure class, environmental class, some support lengths, and of course, different, very few calculations. And the most important one is to select the corresponding Eurocode or the corresponding annex of your country. Of course, at the moment, we support the Nordic countries and the British one, and of course, the standard, the normal Eurocode that most of the European countries are based on. So I say OK here, and the calculation can be either for selected items or for the whole floor. If I select the whole floor, it will take a couple of minutes to do everything. So I will select the holocores that I want to calculate, so it doesn't take so much time during the calculation. The thing that we need to do here is select what is the concrete quality that we want to do the calculation with, and that is very nice because a person who is a constructor, who is a person who drafts, can always before or having a preliminary design, you can always run a quick calculation according to your live load, which in this case I will select to be office areas, and run a very, very quick calculation and see, if there is a problem with your holocores or not. So what I'm going to do here, select simple and easy, select those holocores, press start calculation, and the calculation starts automatically. Again here, maybe Flavio wants to say something about pre-stress and how the calculations are being done. But
yes, pre-stress will take the holocores from impact and calculate them and make, of course, an analysis where you get deformations and force distribution, and a design check for Eurocode. So it's basically it's a way of taking your holocore and performing a detailed calculation. That includes also editing the holocore as the way you like it, perform a fire calculation as well, but we'll take a look at that when we get to pre-stress.
Perfect. Thanks, Flavio. Here you can see we generate directly a report. Some of you that you may use calculation from AutoCAD, which we'll also going to see in a second. You see, you get a report and you see if everything is okay. If I go to my home view and select the element color to be the calculation color, I can go to my calculation view and see that green, of course, means that my holocores pass the preliminary testing, the preliminary audit that we did for them. So again, calculation report, you can print the report, you can export it directly and use that. And that is as simple as it gets to get just a very, very quick overview of your holocores. And to be honest with you, this is the first software that you can import holocores from any other software into the project manager and do universal calculations. So this is a new development, and of course it's part of the project manager in Impact 16 with a pre-stress license, of course. Now, because I can easily select my holocores here and export them in pre-stress, but because, as I said, this is not a detailed calculation, it doesn't follow all the stages, it does only the ultimate limit state on the final stage, the calculation just as a preliminary. I will go to my AutoCAD, I will go to my calculation module. I have created my combinations here, as some of you already know, so I can make Flavio's life a little bit easier. And I'm going to apply the same surface load as a live load for the holocores in Quest, and I'm going to add also some point load where the hanger detail is, for example. Perfect. I can take this one, and because due to this beautiful software AutoCAD, it's a little bit, the snapping was not correct. Perfect. So I have that, I have applied my load, and I can select, for example, the calculation to happen. I have two possibilities to calculate, select the holocores I want to calculate, select my elements, take my report file the same way, copy that. I can do it like that, copy. I can calculate and import results, which again means that software is going to open pre-stress in the background, do the calculations to all the states calculations that they need to be done. Again, that is very quick and fast, so you can see some results. Perfect, import complete. I say okay. You see, in this case, blue, you get the shear force and the moment on the hollow core, and blue means that it is sufficient enough that it passes with the settings that we have set. If you want to go to see the report, you go to your computer, locally paste that, and the report opens. So you can see the hollow cores and the moment and the shear for them, and that they pass the test. Regarding calculations, that was my part. I will open this hollow core. I will select this hollow core with the loads that we just made, and I will print it. You have the possibility to export for external calculation. Press OK, and then immediately say open with Prestress. And of course, OK. And Prestress opens with all the stages that that you have set in Impact for AutoCAD. And from that place on, you can move directly into Prestress, which Flavio is going to show you now. I will just give him access to my mouse, and hopefully he will be able to show you. That was for me at the moment. Please, Flavio.
Yes, thanks. Thanks, Thomas. So we're in Prestress now. We just took that hollow core from Impact. Can I move the mouse?
Let me check. Oh, yes. Now I think you can. Let me.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so I have the hollow core from Impact. You can see here it was imported with the recesses, with the loads on it. Some of you may see Prestress for the first time. Some of you have used it before, but this is the basic interface of it. I see here the load cases, self-weight, which is taken into account automatically, and the load combinations, which have been imported. Everything that I take from Impact, I can edit in Prestress. So I can add recesses, extra recesses, for example, in here in the element window. I have this option, edit recesses and core fillings. I can add a core filling, for example. I just need to put the parameters. And I can see that this core has been filled. Of course, I can put the material which I wanted to be filled with. Also, I have the possibility to add several recesses if I want to. I can just put one right here just by entering the coordinates. The height and the length. So I can further customize my hollow core. Okay. I have the reinforcement details, which handle the cover of the reinforcement according to the code. I have the calculation settings where I can perform a punching check, for example. All my design settings are here. Shear calculation settings. I can set them up and customize my settings. I have different whip shear failure according to Eurocode, or the special EN 1168 for hollow cores. To choose from. Again, I can also perform a fire calculation. I have to set up that combination manually, as it is not transferred from impact. So I can just, I guess I'll just make one just to show you how it looks like, not to spend too much time on it. But here I can see all of my load combinations. I can just add one called fire, put in the load cases that I want to consider, choose fire type here, and just click add. So I have a new load combination. Of course, I'm gonna put some supports. I can see here an overview. So let's take it from, slow down a little bit. I can see all my stages with the supports, and of course I can move these supports. These are set by default, but I can move them anywhere I want. I can also add supports. I can see that I have a pinned and roller support. I can also add fixed supports to study different types of supporting. So if I just add some supports here for fire, actually need some points and here, and I can just move them a little bit. Like that, and then add a pinned. Yeah, I have to make sure I click on the point that I want. And put some predefined roller here. Okay. Of course, for my load combinations, I can set up some long-term parameters for creep and shrinkage. I have a StruSoft Calculator for that. It is an online tool. It's free to use, and you can calculate your creep and shrinkage coefficients based on your material. So I'm ready to make a calculation. Just go to analysis, analyze. This is a warning that the covers are not according to the code, but it's just a warning, so I can go back and fix that any time. I have here the internal forces, bending moment, shear force, and deflection. And I can also make a design code control. And I can see the utilization for each of my stages. And I can see, if I go to the code check here, I can see what type of calculations are performed and what the utilization is a little bit more in detail. I also have a fire calculation and verification. This is the temperature gradient, which shows the areas exposed to fire and the temperature gradient. I see here that I have a dashed line. Whatever is below that dashed line is the damage zone. So I can get an overview of the exposure of my element to fire. I can do Spalling verification for hollow core, and I actually have to set this setting in the beginning just to make sure that the calculation is performed. There's an option to select that. But all in all, this is a workflow in Prestress. I take the element. Now that I've taken it from impact, I can also create my own. I can start from scratch, and this Prestress, for those of you who haven't used it, is also, it works as standalone. So you can import your hollow core profile from AutoCAD. So if you have the profile drawn in AutoCAD already, you can draw it. You can import it as a DVG file and then just perform the calculation from that. Of course, all these calculation verifications are available in a report, which can be generated automatically and just be ready for print. I can go here through all of the input data. Of course, I can make this a little bit larger. My input data with the loads and eigenfrequency calculation. Then I have, for each of my load combination, I have the sections here and all of the forces and stresses at the concrete level, steel strand level, in a table like this for all of my load combinations. Reduction factors due to fire and temperature gradient. Design moments, design shear capacity. Recess for beams. But yeah, this is a workflow in Prestress combined together with impact.
That's perfect. I have a question. As I said,
Yeah.
we're both structural engineers, but I don't know the things that you do in Prestress. So can you just create your definition without having a drawing file from AutoCAD? Can you just go here and just create your hollow core definition directly, or do you need to have a, yeah?
You can just create the geometry and edit, enter the dimensions of the element. Of course, there's more detailed webinars about this on our YouTube channel. It's I don't want to get into detail too much, but of course, more webinars are present on our YouTube channel's StruSoft official.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks for that, Flavio. That was really informative for me also as a structural engineer to know how to do the workflow in Prestress. Perfect. So now that we have a design and the calculations done, I would like to go, as I say, the interesting stuff of our software, which is the production software, and so I can just very quickly make those hollow cores cast plant to put them on a cast bed and plan them for production, either rough planning or fine planning. As you know, I can select my floor, I can right click and say copy element and element marks and move them from the first floor to the second. Of course, copy the shop drawings. I haven't generated any shop drawings at the moment. Maybe it would be nice to generate some shop drawings because there has been some new features added in Project Manager 16 where you can actually right click on the cast bed and print basically open PDF, open drawings in DVG drawings and PDF drawings directly from the casting bed. So you don't have to search in the element IDs, you don't have to search in element marks, model viewer, cast beds, and they start working basically together right now. So I made a very quick copy, and of course you all know that if I go, or some of you know that if I go to my AutoCAD, go to my plan, I can immediately generate also the second floor and or let's say all, and see my hollow cores also in here. And that's how easy it is to create your floors. Except for that, I will take you through very quickly through the production workflow. I will only do the cast planning, so we don't spend a lot of time in that. So let's go to my erection planning, because I would like to set the erection sequence. I'll double click on floor 1, go on top, and be able to select the order of the hollow cores and how I want them to be erected. Select them from here and here, and then if I press Control and Shift again, I can select the rest of them. So I have them all, add elements. You can see the new erection sequence coming here, apply, and I can do the same for my second floor. Of course, it is not necessary to do it for everything at the moment, but just to have something to plan in our beds. Add elements, apply. So I have my elements. Again, I can go to my element ID tab where I do my rough planning. I can right click on the grid and say that I would like to use the rough planning grid. We actually have 4 automatic planning grids, plus you can make your own customized and save it. And to be honest with you, in the new version, you can actually share the plan with your coworkers. So if some of you see that my plan works, so you can share it with everybody and use that one. I'm in the rough planning again, according to my erection sequence. I can start from here and say that I want my erection date to be planned to be again planning. You can see I can open the drawings from here now. I say planning, I can set date, I can set the date to be on the 26th of February, right? Say save changes. Again, I'm gonna do it fast, so that's why I'm putting all of them to be erected on the same day, which is also not a weird thing to say. There are not that many. I will say that my delivery date again should be the same as my erection date. So I'll use change date, change the delivery date, plant delivery date and use my plant erection date. I will say 0 and apply. Save changes. In the same manner, I'm going to use my plant production date to be produced at least 2 weeks before. So I'll change the date and say plant, use my delivery date. No, sorry, change the production date and use the delivery date and go -10. Say apply, save changes. It might be a good idea in this time to assign them a factory in a division beforehand, because now in Resource Manager we can separate the rough plant elements with the fine plant elements. And in order to do that, and I just want to show you a quick picture of how it looks, just so you know that you can actually, in Impact 16, you can see the difference between, if I go to my workload tab, then select from a day here to a day in April, and select all of my factories and refresh the data and be able to see something, and go to my chart graph. You see that I have rough, fine, and fine. So I have like rough plant elements and fine plant elements. So you can see, and this is the time, I can have an element count. So you can see how my week 2 looks in a factory that I don't have, but I can easily separate now. So it's important, if you are doing the rough planning, to do it correctly and assign a factory in a division. I'm going to do it now. I'm just letting you know. Again, what I usually do is very quickly go and create a transport planning, which again, I'm not going to do. There are plenty of videos of how to multi-transport all of our elements. The one thing that I'm going to do, and that is because I want to show you our new system, which is called element control. Sorry, I'll go to my menu. I'll change the element color to status, so we keep track of our elements. And I go to my cast plan, and of course on my calendar view, I don't remember the date of that I had for the production date, but as you can see, I forgot to save, so it's not saved here. But that's not very important at the moment. The important is to do a multicast. I know that bed 2, 3, and 4 is available for the 6th of February, and I will start cast my holocores. Again, I will select all of them, select multicast. The 3 beds are coming automatically. Never forget the tab multicast, and one at a time. Start. Hopefully they're going to occupy the beds that they need to be occupied. Cast planning. I'll select my holocore, go to my detailed view, and drag and drop it here. As you can see, it works fine. I don't know why it didn't work before, but what I wanted to show you and what I promised you is the element control system. So how do we use the element control? We right click. We can have, of course, we can select all the beds, right click, and add element controls. Of course, good preparation always helps, so you have to create your own controls specialized according to every product. And I have created my own here for a holocore, which are pretty basic, and it's a pre-production and a post-production check. So I added that, and you can see my element controls, because the casting, the bed is not produced. I'm going to have to perform the element control first. So I can select it here, or the person who is sitting on the production office, or he can do, or the quality, the person who is who is responsible for the quality, he can do that from the mobile app, of course. So you check the selected, you save the changes, and that means that the pre-production, everything is in place, the custom material, the reinforcement, everything, all the templates, everything is ready. So when I do that, I close, and you will see that this becomes into dark green. Of course, I can go to the settings in my cast calendar and select the control color to be signed here. So you can see always what is the control and what is the status. The moment that I go and set the status of the casting bed, of course, if again move the status, we will see that the color is changed to 35, which means planned and approved. If I set the status to produced, then my status changes 40, that the element is being cast, but the cast calendar, it's red because nobody has run the post-production check. So what I can do, again, I can have as many controls as I want, but the two that they change the status are the pre-production and the post-production control. So I go here and I can select, I can check my length, my width, and my height. So I can put an actual value of my actual was 170, for example, where I cut, this was 1200, and of course 185 the height or the width. I'd say let's save the changes. I add that check, save the changes, and make the status that everything was fine here, and the control automatically fulfilled. You will see again that it is controlled by me, and it can be from whichever user. When I close it, you will be able to see that the element is moved on produced and approved, which means that can be now moved to a storage location or loaded onto a stack. And yeah, that was a very, very quick showcase of some new features in the project manager. I would suppose that I would tell you to stay tuned because we have planned a very good series of webinars for now, the winter and the springtime, until the summer vacation. I think it's around 6 to 8 webinars regarding the new features in all of aspects of project manager of Impact 16, including project manager, mobile application, and design, of course, in Revit and AutoCAD. So that was for me, and suppose Flavio.
Can people see these webinars scheduled anywhere on our website? Are they? Thomas?
Sorry, what did you ask? I'm trying to see the question somehow.
Oh, okay.
Tell me.
Like if you were saying about these webinars
that
are coming up, can people see where they are scheduled and exactly when on our website?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're gonna send an invite to everybody when we have set them up. We decided the last couple of days, so we were making the campaigns when they are supposed to go out. But yeah, exciting news and a lot of new features, as you saw, Flavio, in Impact 16 also. So yeah, and I saw you answered the question. Yes, as I said, the webinar is going to be available in YouTube tomorrow morning, I think, in our Impact and Prestress page. So please follow us in YouTube and LinkedIn to be updated with the latest developments and the latest features of our software. If anybody has any other question, we would appreciate if it can come now, so I can so we can leave you.
Also, I know with Prestress, you can apply for a trial on our webpage, StruSoft.com.
Yeah, of course.
And you can also rent it.
Perfect. That's good. So take contact to Flavio if you want something about Prestress, and of course, if you have any questions. Again, I'm sorry about the little crash on Project Manager. It was not expected, but thank you all for attending. Have a very nice afternoon. Thank you, Flavio, for joining us. showing some pre-stress fissures, and we'll see you all soon.
See you all
Bye-bye.
soon. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.